All right, got a request on doing a little bit of a build video, so I'll share what I've been cooking with the warbringer ascendancy. So that's the warrior. So notable about the warbringer is that you get, you get the armor break. A lot of people go into this kind of armor break thing. Uh, haven't tried in case in Jade, but I have found the ancestral spirits quite useful. One thing to note about the ancestral spirits is that, well, you get the three. They have pretty interesting buffs. So the horn blowing guy gives you this buff. You get 10% attack speed and 5 rage. Uh, this guy, uh, the caster will do a massive AoE kind of green thing that pins all the enemies so they cannot move. Then let's see if we can spawn some of the other guys. So there's the turtle. The turtle gives you 50% increased global defenses and 25% increased block chance. I can't really use the block chance yet because I don't have enough strength to go for this thing, Giant's Blood. But once I have enough strength, I can get a shield. So then I can also benefit from that stuff, and that's what a lot of people seem to be doing anyway. So I think that's kind of nice. And then finally, you have these dudes. They are the least useful ones, so they just kind of knock mobs around and slam, and they're actually sometimes annoying because they can misplace monsters, although other times they can knock stuff away. At times that's useful. So yeah, just maybe what that kind of looks like. So of course this is some time ago, like just finishing Cruel. So the playstyle, if you want to use the totems, is that you spawn the totems and then you just play normally. And since Path of Exile 2 has the system where you can dual spec, there's really not much of an opportunity cost. So in my second weapon set, I use a plus skills mace to give me more just levels of the totems, and that also boosts the level of the ancestral spirits. But the ancestral spirits, like, they don't do basically any damage, so they are just utility. But they're useful. But really, this because you are able to put the damage on the ground in the form of the totems, and then switch to your actual damaging setup, so the maze setup that you would use otherwise. This allows you to get more damage out of the build. And I know the weapon swapping is so quick that I don't really find that it's not much of a downside. And what I found also is that sometimes in this game you sometimes in this game you see the kind of packs that you just really can't engage. Like sometimes the mobs are so juicy, and there's these certain situations that, I mean, you can't really go melee and kill them, even if you have cat res and all that. So what the totem playstyle allows is that when you find mobs like that, packs like that, or mechanics like that, then you don't have to engage. You can stay at range and just let the totems kill them. And it's also nice when you have the kind of massive slam hammer of the gods, that you can just use that from range. And also you can do stuff like cast Sunder uh, from further away. Otherwise, here's some more recent playthroughs. So this is from today. So currently I'm level 73. In my basic play, I don't really use the totems when I kill normal things. I don't need them. So it would just slow me down, and it's irrelevant for the kind of basic mobs. So the basic stuff I'm doing is I'm using the standard mace attack. I use overpower on it so that it gives me more stun. So you can see the mobs are kind of lighting up. That means that they are prone to be stunned. and then I can use the Bone Shatter skill that will shatter the mob and cause a massive kind of AoE explosion. I also just today, since Owls linked this video to me and suggested the armor breaking thing, I also have that now on the mace skill, so you can just also just spam the left attack, and yeah, it does, you know, as you can see, like there's some rare mob, you can just slap stuff down, so it works quite fine. And here there's some like rares, so what you can do, and actually yeah, they're also a bit flustered. I didn't realize that there's shock ground on the, or like there's shot ground there, so that like meant that I was taking quite a bit of damage. But yeah, I haven't died. I think I've died once in maps. That was to the ape boss that just one-shot me with like a slam ability. But this is kind of the playstyle if you don't want to engage. You let the totems kill it. And here I'm not using anything else, so you can kind of see what the damage is like. So that was a 5 mod rare. And you don't really need to engage with those mobs if you don't want to. Of course, sometimes they might run after you. I also found that sometimes the mobs seem to prefer the totems over me. So that's kind of what that looks like. This is also really, it's also really useful for stuff like ritual. So I picked a ritual map for this. Of course, this ritual area is really small. I have magnified effect on the totems, so basically, like in this case, they cover almost the entire ritual screen. But especially earlier, I was doing a ritual that had those kind of chaos kind of mobs that would spawn, and they would like take more than half of my health. And with a mechanic like that, you have to keep moving because they're the kind of thing that where they spawn and then they wait there for a while and then they explode. So if you tank those, then you will just die. And that's really tricky for melee to deal with. But with the totems, you can put them down and then just slap every now and then. To kind of do that. You can also see I recently spec'd into Rage as a kind of one more mechanic or vector to scale the damage when just clearing mobs. But this is kind of the basic clear. Of course, and yeah, this map had just a lot of big mobs that die when they, or explode when they die, so a bit chunky damage. And this is kind of what you do with the rares. You can spawn the totems, but yeah, or you basically you can just go and hit them and cast the hammer. I mean, the damage numbers on that is so ridiculous. It just deletes rares. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. So the build, it's Maze Strike. Basically, martial tempo is just nice to get that kind of first hit a bit quicker. I think Overpower is very good because that enables the Bone Shatter. Splinter, why not? And now I added Armor Explosion. Now the Ancestral Spirit is also one nice thing about it is that it's similar to Maze Strike, where it gains the slots when you level, so you don't need to use any Jeweler's Orbs on that. But yeah, as these don't do any damage, so this is just pure utility. I have Resistances and Life on them. I also have Maim, and then I have Calling Strike. Maim is nice because they always maim on hit, and that gives them 30% reduced slower movement speed. And there's Scavenge Blading, Infernal Cry, Bone Shatter with, this is important, I think the Impact Shockwave. I think this works, like the Aftershock. I believe so. And I have Time of Need. With the Shockwave Totem, I have Magnified Effect, Jagged Ground, Brutality, and Physical Mastery. And here you can see the kind of weapon swap that I have. So now I have +4, these go up to +7. Theoretically, you could wield 2 of these, so I think the end game option for this build would be to get two-handed maces, each adding +7 to all melee skills, totaling in +14 skills. So that's just a lot of damage. Now these also have the jagged ground, so the way the totem works is that it explodes any jagged ground that it's killing. And one more thing that's yeah, these don't work. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, because I was kind of perplexed about this because you have the main had physical damage, and I was wondering why there's cold lightning, because I get those from my ring. So that was also one thing that I was thinking about, that could I get added physical on rings and gloves to boost the damage, but the slam is separate, so it might not actually work. Herald of Ash is nice. Hammer of the Gods. Perfect Strike I used especially while leveling a lot and killing bosses. But now when I'm mapping, I don't have so many bosses, and usually when I do, I just use the Hammer of the Gods, and that's probably enough damage. And then Leap Slam is very good. Just whatever here. I think Fist of War is good here, because you don't use it that often. Like many people would probably put Fist of War and Hammer of the Gods, but I think this is better, because you get the increased AoE. And the playstyle is really nice when you can jump into a pack, and then usually you get like a lot of the mobs will light up ready to be bone shattered, and then when you swing it can actually hit multiple mobs, so that will trigger multiple bone shatters on the same swing. So that's good. Gear, I've been using this for a while. It needs to be upgraded, but it's working fine for me so far. I have a rarity helmet that I use now when I map. Everything is self-found and self-made. This one is just very lucky. I think I alked and threw some stuff here. I gambled a lot of rings. Yeah. And then the weapon swap was the +4 all melee skills. The tree, so this is the kind of important stuff, is the dual spec option. Just whatever nodes. I see, like the videos I've seen, mainly Alkaiser and maybe one other guy, a lot of them go down here, and I think that's fair. I went up here a little bit because I found that these nodes are very good. Like this one has increased attack speed and physical damage, whereas a lot of the nodes that actually add damage, they have reduced. I mean, I suppose the values are higher as well, but I found this was pretty good, and this also gives me especially early on, I really struggled with resistances. Well, now I have them capped, but that was just today when I managed that. But just having 5 all resistances is pretty impactful. But yeah, maybe not. This is not vital. What is vital is that when you look for the totem wheels, you'll find that there's 2 nodes here that give you +1 maximum totems. So you have to path down here if you want to play the build that I'm showcasing. Another thing to note is that the totem life will also scale the life of your ancestral spirits. So I think Wooly, the video Auli linked to me, he was complaining about ancestral spirits dying. Like I haven't really had that issue that much. So just get some totem life. It's also a nice quality of life. They don't die, and also the totems, I think they have over 5,000 health for me. There's also some options here to get some additional physical reduction. So that's really good. And then otherwise for the bonking setup, you just get whatever. The totems cannot aftershock, so these are also good nodes for me to get on just my maze skills. And also the totems do not benefit from nodes like this, like two-handed weapons. It doesn't use a two-handed weapon, it has its own attack, so this doesn't help. And also these kind of armor nodes, I don't really spend time in my weapon swap, so you can also just take the defensive nodes on the kind of main set that you're using. Yeah, next up I think I'm going to go here to get even more tanky. So 20% from damage from hits is taken from nearest totem. This is extremely good. As I said, I also want to get Giant's Blood and equip a shield, and for that this could also be an option to get more block. So yeah, that's the build, and hopefully this is helpful to somebody.